What is up, folks? Bristling Gaming back with another episode of 7 Days to Die Mods Weekly, the show where we help you figure out what mods will work well for you. And this week we've got some simple little mods we're going to go over. Should be fast. But before we jump into anything, I want to take a second and say, if you like the content, go ahead and like and subscribe, as it does help out the channel a great deal. And now our first mod is Craft Spikes by Donovan. And what this does is it brings in the woodlock spikes. So you see I have some woodlock spikes here. You go in your inventory, you type in spike, you got iron and wood log. Now the woodlock spikes are still in the creative menu, like in a normal game without this mod. You can't craft them though. You can spawn them in from the creative menu, but you can't craft them. What this does is it gives you the option to craft them. So you have some wood, or you can use iron to craft iron. And then you go ahead and you place them down. So I'm going to place them down. We'll place a whole bunch, make a little square, and then we'll come here and you can upgrade them just like you could before. And these will actually damage zombies. Zombies will take damage from these. So this just brings back something that was in the original game that for whatever reason are only in the creative menu. Like, I don't know why it got taken out of actually being able to be crafted, but it did. And this mod brings it back to where you can build them. It's a simple little mod. It's XML. We've had it working on our server before, so if you're playing with friends, there you go, it works for you. But with that, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next mod. Alright folks, so our next mod is Better Cement by Donovan. And what this does is it takes out some of the extra steps needed to make cement. I tried to think of a nice way to say that. So before, you had to have the forge to make cement. You come in here and you type in cement, but this changes it. Now, instead of having small stones smelt inside this to make cement mix and all this other crap, now it just does it straight in the cement mixer, and all you have to have is sand and clay. So you just come in, you pull out some sand and clay, throw it in here, you make cement mix. And then or you make cement. And then for concrete mix, you just need small stone and cement. It makes it so much easier to actually get cement now. You don't actually have to go through the big, long, complicated process of farming up just a stupid amount of small stone to throw in your forge to turn into cement, or to throw in here to turn into sand and stuff. It really simplifies the process. Now you cut out the forge altogether, which I think makes a lot more sense. I never understood why you had to make cement mix out of the forge anyway. But it makes everything a lot easier. And going on with this mod, we've got the next one, which is Craft Acid. And it is a great little mod as well, because I don't know about you guys, but I hate playing and can never find acid. Like, it's one of those things that you'll spend forever raiding houses and everything, and then find like maybe one bottle an hour or something, and it gets annoying, especially if you need it to craft tires and stuff like that. So what this does is this actually changes to where you can actually craft acid. You come into your chem station, you type in acid. So long as you've got these ingredients, the nitrate, coal, murky water, and bone, you can actually craft acid. It makes it a heck of a lot easier for you. And murky water is used to make glue and stuff like that, but at a certain point in the game, you've got like infinite sources of murky water, or you've got just stupid amounts of jars and stuff to where you can get crazy amounts of murky water. So I know I'll get to a point, depending upon how long I've been playing the game, where I don't have a use for it anymore. Like, I don't need glue all the time. I don't need stuff like that. But like, depending upon if I want to make extra vehicles just to have, or whatever I'm doing, I might need acid. And that's a big stopgap for me is acid. So you come in here and you make it. It makes life a little bit easier, and it also makes it a little bit easier during early game, when you might be able to find these materials a little bit easier, but not have the acid necessary to build get the tires for your first vehicle. This kind of helps. But with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next mods. Alright folks, so our next mod is Animal Snares by Valmar and Stallionsden. And this is a nice little mod because it gives you a passive way to get meat, feathers, and eggs. And how you do it is you have to have some animal feed. And how you get animal feed is by pumpkins or by corn. So you go to your pumpkin, you click on recipes, you click on animal feed. You go to animal feed, recipes, you can craft an animal snare or a chicken coop. They're super easy materials to get, and if you're playing on like a harder difficulty where you have a hard time finding food, or if you're with a bunch of friends and stuff like that, your guys are having a hard time staying fed, this gives you these items here. So once you actually get, I'll go ahead and I'll place down this trap here. You saw that one just changed. So it's got, these snares have 3 phases. It goes from this to that to eventually this. So when you come over here and you search the baited trap, you see I've got bone, feather, and meat. And then it just resets itself. Come over here, this chicken coop is getting ready to go through its last phase. And these are great, like I said, if you're playing like with friends or you're playing by yourself on a hard difficulty and you need some extra food, stuff like that. These traps really help you, you know, you're not going to get a whole bunch. You know, I got 1 piece of meat when you need like 5 to craft just a simple thing. But because of the material cost, it's super easy to make, and you can have dozens of these things, and they just keep resetting. So long as you have the stuff necessary, you can just continue to just make a whole bunch of these, and then before you know it, you know, you're out looting and stuff like that. You swing back, you know, it's been an hour or so, you know, in real world. You loot these up, bam, you've got meat. Like, we'll come over here and we'll loot this one. Look, we got some fat, leather, and meat again. And now we're just waiting on the chicken coops. Like, this is a great mod if you're playing with friends or if you're on a hard difficulty and you don't like having to constantly worry about, you know, food or do the buried supply missions and stuff for food. This is really easy to get. It's super easy mod to work with in terms of like providing food and material costs and stuff. I highly recommend it. But with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. Alright folks, so our next mod is Expanded Traps by Stallionsden and Valmar. And this is a really neat mod because, as you see, I've got some traps around me. This mod does a lot for you. It lets you craft some different kinds of traps that I think can help spice up a base build, because you might not want turrets, you don't want wires running around, or you don't like the whole idea of it, just, you know, whatever your reason is. This gives you a bunch of different traps that you can use. You've got long plate traps and you've got some individual traps. So I'm going to take and I'm going to place down just a few more of these traps to really seal myself in here, and then I'm going to spawn in some zombies and let you see. And just so everybody can see the materials required for this, you've got the different kinds of traps over here. So you've got adhesive burning traps, you've got shock traps, you've got long plate, stun traps. Like there's a lot of different kinds of traps here that you can make that actually really do help in terms of like planning how you're going to defend a base, or you can build these before you go into a POI, place them in a doorway or something like that, where you know, if you're in a high-end POI, you're afraid you're going to get swarmed. These can help, mitigate some disaster. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna spawn in some zombies. We're gonna spawn in 25 looking at me. Actually, I don't want to do 25, but we'll spawn in some soldiers, and we're gonna let them run. See how they're on fire now? Go ahead and go into God mode, and now look at that. See how they're just stunned there, just being electrocuted and burned. And the traps actually do decent damage. Like, these guys are taking a beating sitting there. Like, if we walk up and we hit, you see how low their health is? These traps actually do a number on zombies. Like, they're a good way to build a base, and this saves on electricity. You're not having to put a whole lot of effort into how you're gonna do a lot of this stuff. The only problem is they do take mods. But with that, I think it's a good thing that they take mods, because it gives like an alternate usage for mods. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'll get to a point where in game where I'm just stacking mods inside weapons and armor and stuff like that to sell, just to boost the value, even if you don't really need it. This helps eliminate a lot of that, because you can use some of those extra mods or useless car batteries and stuff that you get to build these things, and you can stack them around strategic places where you might not have great coverage for a trap. You might only need like one long plate in a certain area where you think you might have a weakness, Or hell, even like around my base here, I could line this entire outside area with these traps. And the traps will kill most of the zombies before I really even have to worry about them, especially if it's not a horde night. On a horde night, it's a different story. You might have to double down on some defenses, but these traps can do some damage to a horde of zombies. But with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to the last mod. Alright folks, so our last mod is Buffed Airdrop Crate Loot by Stallionsden and Valmar, and this is a fun mod. I really like this mod because, you know, it really changes the supply crates. Like when I'm playing on my server, we use this, and how we do it is we don't have a supply crate every day. We have it once a week. But, you know, even then, you know, normal supply crate, you're only going to get just a few items, and it's really usually not worth it all that much. You might get some medicine, you might get a schematic or two here and there, but it's really not that great. But with this mod, it really changes up what you get. Like, let's go ahead and take a look into this one. Look at all this crap. I mean, look at this. Like, look at all this material here. You've got just stupid amounts of lead. You've got oil shell. You've got stone. You've got iron. Like, look at all this stuff. Like, that's a lot of really good stuff. Like, that is not a bad haul at all. Like, you're sitting on 60,000 freaking oil shell. You're sitting on 60,000 stone. Like, that's a lot. And for those who are questioning my math, 6,000 times 5 is 30. 30 times 2 is 60. Somebody questioned my math on one of my videos once before. My wife doesn't understand how math works, so. But, I mean, look at this. Like, that's some decent ammo. Like, there's a lot of good stuff. Like, this mod changes a lot of stuff. Like, you've got schematics, more so than you would normally get. You've got ammo. You've got materials, and how, like I said, how we have this set up on my server is we only get one supply crate a week. We've got it set up once a week. It's usually just before horde, so like, you know, it's a hustle for us on like horde day. Like, okay, let's go see what we're gonna get. You know, are we gonna get bullets? Are we gonna get material we can use for some last minute upgrades? Like, it really does change like how we play our game, especially if, you know, you're playing on a set horde day. But I think it's even more fun to use this mod on once a week with a random horde day, because then you're either going to get it before or after. Is it going to be an item that's going to help you survive the horde, or is it going to be an item that's going to help you, you know, rebuild afterwards? That's why I like this mod. But we are done for the week, and if you guys have any questions, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. I've been lucky enough to have mod authors lately reaching out, you know, answering questions that I've posed, or just clarifying some points in some of the videos. You know, I'm doing this in my free time. I do what research I can, but if there's something you guys know that I don't, by all means, reach out and let me know. If you're a mod author, if you've got mods that you want me to cover, reach out and let me know. I really like it. But thank you guys for sticking around as long as you have. I hope you had fun. I know I did. Take it easy, and we will see you next time.